Sean for the Comics Pals. We are here live at Wizard World Philadelphia 2017. It is the last day, so everyone's just trying to get out of here. We're very tired. Standing next to me is J.G. Jones, a phenomenal artist, the man behind Wanted, Final Crisis, Strange Fruit, and just a general amazing illustrator. How's your con going so far?
Terrific, we're just hanging out, signing some books, drawing some pictures, standard stuff.
Sounds great. And how's business going for you?
Terrific. Having a good time.
Awesome. Very glad to hear that. And if you guys do stop by a con that J.G. Jones is at, be sure to pick up some of his work because this is...
please.
So I want to start off by asking you, because you've been in the industry for quite a while and you've done pretty much everything there is to do. So how do you keep yourself challenged? How do you challenge yourself? And how do you keep things fresh for you?
I'm always looking for something new to do. Whether it's bouncing back and forth between painting or drawing line art interiors. Right now I'm writing a lot and doing a lot more creating properties for myself to work on. So, I want to try everything before I'm done with it.
So speaking of your writing, what are some of the things that we can find of yours that you've written? I think you wrote Doc Savage for DC a few years back. What are some of the other properties that you might have touched on?
Well, I created Strange Fruit with Mark, and we wrote it together. And right now I have, I shouldn't say, but I've written another graphic novel, and I'm in the middle of another one, trying to decide which one I'm going to do first. So,
can you tease us a little bit about when we might be able to see something like that coming from you?
I haven't made a deal yet, so I don't have any release dates, but, sometime the next year.
Awesome. Do you plan to illustrate that as well?
I'm debating with myself.
So speaking of your artwork, there's a high degree of believability and weight to everything that you draw, and you have a way of humanizing characters like Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman who often come across as godlike and unapproachable.
Right.
And there's a particular cover that you did for Final Crisis where it looks like Superman could literally fly off the page, and that's one that really spoke to me. So how did you develop your style as an artist?
I think it just kind of grew. I never set out to have a particular look or style. It was just years of doing it. I kind of ended up where I am. And again, it's like we were talking about on your first question. I like to try everything. So the painting and all comes out of my fine art background, and the black and white style comes, I think, from a lot of the 70s Warren kind of art, highly detailed, finished art style.
Yeah.
So I think of my stuff as really old school brought up to the current.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely get that vibe from your work, and that kind of leads into my next question, which was, what do you think that your art kind of says about you as a person and how you sort of see the world?
It probably says that I work too hard and I don't know when to quit, and that I stay up really late.
So you worked with Mark on Strange Fruit, and I personally really loved that title. Really spoke to me. How did you guys sort of collaborate on that, and how did that all come about?
Well, I was working on something completely separate for Boom, and they wanted me to draw something, so I pitched them this idea that I had, and Mark and I had been talking about it for a while, so he was in immediately. As far as working on it, we basically did it all on the phone. We would plot it out, and then together, and he would go and write it, and then we would get on the horn and we'd rewrite it and tweak the dialogue and, stuff like that. Change up the pacing depending.
Sounds highly collaborative.
Yeah, one of the great things about the comics medium is just how collaborative it is. And I really like picking the brains of other good writers. I've been really lucky in my career to work with the top talent in the industry. And if you don't take the opportunity to learn from the best, then it's wasted.
What kind of advice would you give to creators who are jumping on now, whether they be writers or artists, trying to jump into the industry? What are some of the things that you feel like creators need to keep in mind as they dive into this?
It's a really good question. There's so much. But luckily, we're in a great time in the industry where it's, comics are not a genre, they're a medium, and you can do pretty much anything that you want. So I'm not saying there is one approach to come in. You can come in with your own voice, you can come in looking to write established characters, and it's really the best time we've ever had in the industry for creating. You can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, especially now with Kickstarter,
Yep.
anyone can sort of jump in and try their hat, or try to apply their trade at this thing.
Yep. You're never guaranteed an audience,
Right.
for what you're doing, but you can do. Back when I started, the entire industry was in New York, and you sort of had to live there and bring your pages in physically to the office. Now you can live anywhere in the world and work for the major companies or do your own, create your own project. So
There's not even a language barrier anymore. There are a lot of artists that are not from America, that don't necessarily speak English, who are working and getting a lot of attention in this industry now.
yeah, there's some amazing talent from all around the world.
Yeah.
Asian artists, Spanish artists, South American artists. I think everybody has to step up their game just to hang. It was easy when it was just us guys in New York.
But that speaks to the challenge for you as someone who's been doing it a while. It sort of, challenges you to raise your game, and clearly you have.
Well, thank you. I try. I don't want to sleep on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you're at these conventions, what's the number one request or commission request that you get? What character do people want to see you draw the most?
It really changes depending on what people remember I did last. The Wonder Woman movie obviously just opened, so suddenly people remember that I did a lot of Wonder Woman stuff, so that'll be a request. When Avengers comes out, people remember, oh, I did Black Widow a while ago, so I'll get requests for that. It just, whatever's in the public milieu at the time that I might have touched on.
Sounds about right. So you mentioned Wonder Woman. Yesterday was Wonder Woman Day, and we celebrated by talking about the movie on our podcast. Why do you think that Wonder Woman is such an important character in comics?
Wow. If I could figure that out, I could do a dissertation on it. But I think the thing that I respond to about her is the heart. She comes from outside the culture, so she's looking at it with fresh eyes and trying to figure out why we do some of this stupid garbage that we do. And she has a very strong moral code. Her whole core is that moral responsibility to do the right thing. And I think that's what people respond to. And whether you're a guy or a girl, And I think it's great to have such a strong female lead, too.
Yeah.
Not just a sex pot on the Avengers team or whatever team, Defenders team.
Yeah. Have you had a chance to see the movie yourself?
No, not yet, because I've been sitting here all weekend drawing pictures, but I'm really looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. Well, I hope you get the chance to see it soon, and I hope you have a good time watching it and that you enjoy it, because you've been an influencer on the character with the work that you did, especially with Greg Rucka. So,
Love working with Greg.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is there anything that you want to say to the fans, let them know, maybe tease a little bit?
I don't tease. I deliver.
Where can we find you?
Right now I'm hanging in Philly at the Comic-Con, so come on down fast.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our interview with J.G. Jones. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. Really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks so much.
So we're here again at Wizard Row Philadelphia. We've been here all weekend. We've got tons of content for you guys to check out. So check it out on YouTube. Follow us on social media. We're at the Comics Pals everywhere your social media is sold. I'm Sean Bartley. Take care, guys.